Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines this evening. Indian Army retaliates strongly to Pakistani ceasefire violation for the third time in the last 24 hours. UN observers in India and Pakistan start investigations on both sides of POK. India warns China against creating any artificial controversy around the Dalai Lama's visit to Arunachal Pradesh. Government says India doesn't meddle in its neighbours' affairs and China should also do the same. Controversy over who will pay for legal representation in Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal's defamation case. Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal expresses reservations over government's demand in the matter. Russian investigators identify the man behind the attack on St. Petersburg metro station. Death toll in the attack that took place on Monday goes up to 14. Post-Brexit, Britain is trying to forge fresh economic partnerships in an attempt to find newer markets once it disassociates from the European Union. In this regard, it has underscored India as a potential market and key economic partner. A theme that was highlighted today by the UK Finance Minister's meeting with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and United Kingdom's Finance Minister Philip Hammond concluded India-UK economic and financial dialogue in Delhi. As one of the major countries working on green technology to address climate change, UK will invest almost £240 million in India. This is expected to be a major boost to UK economy post-Brexit developments.
We have both continued to consolidate past successes and to identify new areas where we can work together over the next couple of years, preparing for the point where Britain leaves the European Union and is able to engage with our Indian colleagues in a deep discussion about a future free trade agreement between the United Kingdom and India.
India has told the UK Finance Minister that the fund will also be used to create infrastructure with energy and carbon-saving devices. The British Finance Minister was also reminded that in 2015, India had set up National Infrastructure and Investment Fund to finance modernization of old projects.
Established the National Infrastructure and Investment Fund, and one of the first major steps in that fund has been taken, and there is going to be a sub-fund with the UK and the NIF participating in it, and this is going to be a green growth equity fund where both are going to be making a contribution of about £120 million, and this would be financing the energy needs in India. So this is going to be a first major beginning as far as this fund is concerned.
This was the 9th economic and financial dialogue between India and UK to revitalize the economic relationship between the two countries. The high-level talks are taking place at a time when the whole world is curious to see how Britain chooses its destiny in the face of its divorce with the European Union. It is also an opportunity for India and UK to showcase a new partnership, especially at a time when the US is exploring protectionism as an option. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire along the LOC for the third time in 24 hours. This time in Rajouri, the Indian Army retaliated strongly after Pakistan began indiscriminate shelling on civilian areas in Rajouri district. Only yesterday, Pakistan had violated the ceasefire in Rajouri and Poonch sectors. The United Nations said that it will initiate a probe into the ceasefire violations. Pakistan violated the ceasefire for the third time in the last 24 hours in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. The Indian Army troops deployed on forward posts retaliated strongly after the Pakistani side resorted to heavy shelling on civilian areas along the line of control in Rajouri district. On Monday, Pakistani troops opened mortar fire on forward posts in Balakot sector of Rajouri district at 11 am. This came just a few hours after Pakistani troops fired with small arms, automatic and mortar shells along the LOC in the Poonch sector.
With the summer coming up, these ceasefire violations will increase again, and this is also a kind of tactics under the ceasefire violation. They make an effort to cross the terrorist. So Pakistan, our security forces understand this, but Pakistan must realize this, and they will never succeed in their aim.
Floral tributes were paid to the CRPF Jawan martyred in a militant attack in Srinagar's Panta Chowk, in which 5 other Jawans and 2 civilians were injured. Senior officers from the CRPF, Jammu and Kashmir Police and the civil administration laid wreaths on the coffin carrying the mortal remains of Head Constable Basappa Bajantri.
Overall situation fluid है, militant activity थोड़ा increase हो रही है क्योंकि election होने वाली है और थोड़ा सा सिचुएशन के ऊपर हमें ध्यान देने की जरूरत है। श्रीनगर में इनके हाइडआउट्स तो हैं, लेकिन मूवमेंट हमारे पास इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट तो है कि आते हैं यहाँ पे और इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट है, लेकिन हम अलर्ट हैं हमारे।
On Sunday, Constable Shamsuddin was martyred in a grenade attack in Nauhata area of Srinagar. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General spokesman Stefan Dujarric stated that the UN military observer group in India and Pakistan is investigating alleged ceasefire violations in POK. The UN has termed the security situation as quite tense. We've seen the alleged ceasefire violations over the line of control, which are currently being investigated by the UN military observer group in India and Pakistan in the Pakistani-administered side of the line of control at Domel, Kotli and Bimbar, where the security situation has indeed been tense.
We don't think we should wait until something happens. We very much think that we should be proactive in the way that we're seeing tensions rise and conflicts start to bubble up, and so we want to see if we can be a part of that. So I think that will be something that you will see members of the National Security Council participate in, but also wouldn't be surprised if the President participates in that as well.
The first 3 days of April have seen the militants go into an overdrive in Kashmir, carrying out 3 attacks on security forces. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, just 3 weeks before municipal elections in Delhi, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has called for its postponement so that voting can be held using ballot papers. Kejriwal alleged widespread tampering of EVMs and claimed VVPAT machines from Uttar Pradesh were being brought to conduct the bypolls in Rajouri Garden and Bhind in Madhya Pradesh. Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal rejected Kejriwal's demand, citing time constraints to effect any change in the mode of polling. The municipal polls are scheduled to be held on April 23rd. Meanwhile, the Election Commission hit out at Kejriwal, terming his allegation of UP EVMs being used in bypolls as baseless. It reiterated that EVMs were tamper-proof and asked Kejriwal to introspect on the party's performance. Congress and other political parties also raised concerns over the issue of EVM tampering in the recently concluded assembly elections in 5 states. BJP has dismissed such allegations. Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal has sought Solicitor General Ranjit Kumar's advice in clearing bills of senior lawyer Ram Jethmalani, who is fighting for Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in a defamation case slapped by Arun Jaitley. This after the Law Department of Delhi refused to clear the payments amounting to over 3 crore rupees without the LG's permission. Meanwhile, Jethmalani has offered to fight Kejriwal's case for free.
Noted lawyer Ram Jethmalani has said that he is ready to represent Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in court for free in the defamation case against Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. This after Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal raised apprehensions in the proposal made by the Delhi government seeking the LG's approval to pay Jethmalani's fee amounting to 3.86 crore rupees. Baijal has sought Solicitor General Ranjit Kumar's advice in the matter.
I would. Even now, if the government doesn't pay or he can't pay, I will appear free. I will then treat him as one of my poor clients.
Meanwhile, the BJP termed the Delhi government's move to clear bills as dacoity and loot of the people's money and said that it will not let this happen. The Congress too has raised questions about the Aam Aadmi Party's intentions.
आपने बदनामी किया, आपको पैसा भरना है, जनता कैसे भरेगी? और ये केस का अभी तो थोड़ी सुनवाई हुई है, उसका 4 करोड़ बिल है। जब इनको 10 करोड़ अगर फाइनली ये जुर्माना होगा तो 10 करोड़ भी जनता भरेगी। और इन पर तो 7 केसेस है,
डिफेमेशन केस पर्सनल है, आपको पर्सनल पे करना चाहिए। आपने एज ए मुख्यमंत्री तो आरोप नहीं लगाए थे जेटली जी पे, या तो मुख्यमंत्री आरोप लगाता तो सरकार का प्रवक्ता कहता, सरकार के मंत्री कहते, आप सरकार की तरफ से आरोप लगाते और आप तहकीकात करते। आपने तो व्यक्तिगत रूप से लगाया है ना, तो अगर व्यक्तिगत आप पर आपने आरोप लगाए हैं तो व्यक्तिगत डिफेमेशन है। तो फिर आप अगर इतने महंगे लॉयर को रख रहे हैं तो आप अपनी जेब से पैसा दीजिए, सरकार को नहीं देना चाहिए।
Despite the Lieutenant Governor's apprehension, the AAP government maintains the bills must be paid by the Delhi government.
सरकार ने जांच कराई, क्रिकेट का भ्रष्टाचार रोकना सरकार की जिम्मेदारी थी, सरकार ने कदम उठाया। अब सरकार के द्वारा कराई जा रही जांच की वकील की फीस अरविंद केजरीवाल व्यक्तिगत रूप से देंगे, वो पर्सनल केस थोड़ी था।
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley filed a criminal defamation complaint against Kejriwal and other AAP leaders in 2015 over their comments over the Delhi District Cricket Association controversy. In December, Manish Sisodia had asked for releasing appearance fee to Jethmalani, but the Delhi Law Department questioned the proposal as the defamation case is not related to the city administration. Hanu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the newly appointed Uttar Pradesh government has decided to waive off farm loans up to 1 lakh rupees for farmers in the state. The decision was taken after first cabinet meet of the Yogi Adityanath government. The move is expected to provide relief to over 2.25 crore farmers battling severe drought primarily in the Bundelkhand region. Providing relief to farmers in the state was one of the poll promises of the BJP for the 2017 assembly elections. The Yogi cabinet also approved the proposal to buy 100% wheat crop for farmers across the state. Apart from the farm loan waivers, the UP cabinet has also stamped their approval on the ordinances on the ban on slaughterhouses and anti-Romeo squads. Amid China's objections over the Dalai Lama's visit to Arunachal Pradesh, India asked its neighbouring country not to interfere in its internal affairs. Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju said that India respects the One China policy and expects Beijing to reciprocate. He also said that being in a secular democracy, India will not restrict the visit of the Dalai Lama or any other religious leader within its territory. The Dalai Lama is scheduled to visit Arunachal Pradesh on Tuesday evening, during which he will hold religious discourses with devotees in Tawang, Bomdila and other places. China had earlier warned India that the spiritual leader's visit to Arunachal Pradesh will cause serious damage to their bilateral ties.
India never interfered into the internal affairs of China. We expect that China also should not interfere in our internal matters. Being a democratic and secular country, India cannot restrict or stop the visit or the program of any religious leaders in our country.
Well, the Madras High Court has directed the Tamil Nadu government to waive off loans for all drought-hit farmers. The court also restrained cooperative societies and banks from recovering their dues from the farmers. It called for the centre to come forward to extend financial help to Tamil Nadu during this difficult situation. The Madras High Court noted that the state's financial situation was grim and it was single-handedly shouldering the debt burden in a drought year in which farmers were committing suicide. The court also directed the Cooperation, Food and Consumer Protection Department and Registrar of Cooperative Societies to extend the crop loan waiver scheme under 2 government orders of 2016 to all farmers. Tamil Nadu farmers have been protesting in New Delhi for over 20 days now, demanding relief from the centre.
They say it's the duty of the government, central and state government, to protect the farmers because they are in a very pathetic condition. Last 5 years there is no proper monsoon in Tamil Nadu, and 2015 the unexpected floods has taken place. So you extend the benefit which was given to the small farmers to all farmers. The court also directed the government to implement the order within a period of 3 months, and in between time and also restrain the government not to recover the loan from the farmers.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Uninterrupted power supply still remains a far cry.
The central government is only a policy-making body. It's the states which have to invest in their power infrastructure.
what about the hydropower? We see that is untapped as compared to wind and solar.
Unless you resolve the past legacy, no new investor is going to come in and put good money.
Yogi Adityanath, his anointment is leading to some kind of a social isolation, especially the Muslims.
A lot of Muslim women are very happy that there will be peace and security on the streets.
Watch to the point with Minister of State for Coal Power, New and Renewable Energy, Piyush Goyal, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the United Nations has expressed hope that the culprits behind the attacks on African nationals in India will be brought to justice. Speaking to reporters in New York, spokesperson of the UN Secretary General Stefan Dujarric clarified that the UN has not intervened on the issue yet. Yesterday, condemning attacks on African nationals as xenophobic and racial, heads of African missions in India hit out at the Indian government for not taking sufficient and visible action against the people involved. Meanwhile, the External Affairs Ministry said that investigations into the death of an Indian teenager and the subsequent incident by local authorities are ongoing. Well, the government on Monday released a country-wide ranking of educational institutions. According to it, Delhi's Miranda House and Bengaluru's Indian Institute of Science are India's best college and university respectively. The IISc Bangalore has been ranked the #1 educational institution in India. 7 Indian institutes of technology have also made it to the list of the top 10 educational institutions. 6 Delhi University colleges have made it to the list of top 10 colleges in the country. According to the list released by the HRD Ministry, the top 3 colleges are Delhi's Miranda House, Loyola College in Chennai and Sri Ram College of Commerce in Delhi. Meanwhile, the top 3 universities are IISc in Bangalore, Jawaharlal University in New Delhi and BHU in Varanasi. Well, here's a look now at what else is making news across the country and nationwide. Well, 18 of the 38 fishermen from Tamil Nadu arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy last month were released today. The fishermen were handed over to the Indian Coast Guard at the International Maritime Boundary Line. Over 4,200 nominations were filed for the MCD polls due on April 23rd as the last date for filing the papers ended on Monday. Among the major parties, AAP has filed 1,033 nominations, followed by the BJP and the Congress with 565 and 544. Scrutiny of nominations will take place on April 5th. The Kerala government will seek time from the Supreme Court to implement its order banning the sale of liquor along highways. The decision to move the top court was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. It was also resolved in the meeting to shift as many liquor outlets as possible in accordance with the law. small-sized cargo vessel with 10 Indian crew members from Gujarat was hijacked by pirates and taken to a Somalian port. The vessel was on a voyage from Dubai to Yemen when it was hijacked. No ransom demand has been raised so far for the crew. Director General of Shipping Malini Shankar said that they are in touch with the Indian Navy on the issue. The Election Commission on Monday asked the Madhya Pradesh government to transfer 2 more officials from Bhim district to ensure free and fair conduct of a by-poll. The move comes after a VVPAT machine dispensed slips with the BJP symbol irrespective of the EVM button pressed. By-poll for 2 constituencies after the Bandhavgarh constituency will take place on April 9. Going on to some international news now, where Russian investigators are suspecting the hand of a radical Islamist immigrant from Kyrgyzstan behind the bomb blast in a St. Petersburg subway on Monday. The attack that killed 14 people and injured dozens others is being considered the worst terrorist attack in a major Russian city in years.
Russian investigators say they have identified the suspect who bombed the St. Petersburg metro station on Monday, but they declined to name him. Earlier, Kyrgyzstan Security Service named Akhbarzon Jalilov as the mastermind of the attack that killed at least 14 people and injured over 40 others. The discovery of a second larger device led to the shutdown of the city's metro system. Although no group claimed responsibility for the attack, experts feel this may have been a coordinated terrorist attack.
Based on the fact that we know that one device went off, the other one was prevented, it seemed to suggest that this was coordinated, multiple. That certainly bears the hallmarks of a transnational terrorist group. There will be suspicion that that could fall on groups like ISIS or Jabhat Fatah al-Sham, which is the former Al-Qaeda affiliate. Both groups have targeted or vocally wanted to target Russia in the past. They've deemed Russia to some degree as a higher target than some Western countries. But we'll have to wait and see for the Russian authorities to come out with a more definitive answer.
Residents of St. Petersburg began the first of their 3-day mourning by laying flowers and lighting candles as a tribute to the victims. Russian President Vladimir Putin also visited a makeshift memorial in the city on Monday evening. He later met security officials over the status of the investigation.
Очень надеюсь, что такие события помогут нам всем, не только людям России, а людям во всем мире понять, что нужно оставаться людьми и в себе взращивать человечность, а не звероподобность.
Войну пережил, мама у меня воевала, папа на подлодке. И такое творится с людьми, это зверство просто. Это не подлежит никакому осуждению, надо наказать.
Meanwhile, world leaders rallied behind Russia in condemning the blast.
This was a horrific attack in St. Petersburg. I've written to President Putin to give him my condolences and those of the British people for this absolutely appalling attack. Of course, our thoughts must be with the victims and their friends and families. But this shows the terrible terrorist threat that we are all facing. I'm very clear, as the people of the UK were after the attack in London, that we will prevail. The terrorists will not win. Our values will prevail.
テロは断じて許すことはできません。困難な状況を迎えておられるプーチン大統領、そしてロシア国民の皆様と日本は共にあります。国際社会としっかりと連携をしながら。
Monday's incident was the first ever attack on the St. Petersburg's metro system that is used by over 2 million passengers every day. But several transport hubs in Russia have been targets of attacks. In 2010, 38 people died in a double suicide bombing on the Moscow metro. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
There's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. At least 35 people were killed and 60 injured in a suspected chemical attack on a rebel-held town in northwestern Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that strikes by Syrian government had caused many people to choke, and adding that dozens more suffered respiratory problems. The Trump administration has taken steps to crack down on H-1B visa abuse. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security issued a warning to Justice Department employers to increase transparency on applicants. U.S. President Trump had promised to end the lottery system for H-1B visas that gives each applicant an equal chance at 65,000 positions each year. Japanese Deputy Foreign Minister Takeo Akiba met his Chinese counterpart Xuan Yu-kong in Tokyo and held a bilateral talk. According to Japanese media, the two ministers exchanged words about North Korea's nuclear tests. A preparation for a possible bilateral between Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Chinese President Xi Jinping ahead of the July G20 in Germany was also discussed in the talks. North Korea has warned it will retaliate if the global community ramps up sanctions over its latest round of weapons tests. The warning comes after US President Donald Trump threatened that Washington was prepared to go it alone in bringing Pyongyang to heel if China did not step in. Cyclone Debbie, which left a trail of destruction in northeast Australia, lashed New Zealand on Tuesday, closing highways and causing a major landslip. A state of emergency was declared in the city of Wanguni on the North Island. Evacuations from some places are underway. The weather officials have warned of heavy rain in the next 48 hours. And a huge loss to the classical music industry. Renowned classical vocalist Kishori passed away in Mumbai on Monday. She was 84. Born on April 10, 1932, Amonkar was recognized as one of the foremost singers in the Hindustani tradition and as an innovative exponent of the Jaipur Gharana. She was also primarily known for her skillful singing of classical khayal songs set in the traditional ragas of Hindustani music. Amonkar was a popular speaker and travelled throughout India giving lectures on the theory of rasa in music. She received many awards including the Padma Bhushan in 1987 and the Padma Vibhushan in 2002. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Governor C. Vidyasagar Rao in their condolence messages described Amonkar as a doyen of classical music. That's it on this newscast. Good evening.